Hey there, my friend. Grant Baldwin here. Thanks for hanging out with us. Hey, I am the founder of thespeakerlab.com. If you haven't already, make sure you check it out. Check out the podcast as well. One of the things that we teach is the Speaker Success Roadmap. That's exactly what we're going to be teaching today. So whether you are a brand new speaker, you're just getting started, you're just like, I have no idea where to begin or what to do, you've come to the right place, you're watching the right video. Maybe for you, you've been doing this for a little while, you're trying to figure out how you can get paid more, how you find more speaking engagements, how you grow and build your business beyond the stage. We're going to be digging into that as well. So we're going to be walking through the Speaker Success Roadmap here, but before we do, let me also give you a heads up. freespeakerworkshop.com, freespeakerworkshop.com. I'd encourage you to register for one of our upcoming teachings and trainings where we're teaching you more in depth of what the Speaker Success Roadmap is all about and how you can implement it in your business, and more importantly, how you can start to find and book speaking engagements starting now. All right, so let's dig into this. The Speaker Success Roadmap, we're going to use an acronym with SPEAK. Clever, isn't it? So the first step in the roadmap here is to select a problem that you can solve. Select a problem that you can solve. Now, first of all, I apologize. I'm well aware that my handwriting is hideous, and the good thing is when you go to freespeakerworkshop.com to register for one of those trainings, you don't have to look at any of my handwriting, all right? It's all slides, so don't worry about that. So, select a problem to solve. Now, this is a really, really important and key step, and this is one that most speakers fail to really think through and consider. Oftentimes, maybe you've spoke a few times before, you've enjoyed it, you got some good feedback, got a good reaction, and you think, I want to do more of that. And so sometimes we just think, who do I want to speak to? I want to speak to everybody. I want to speak to anybody. I'll speak about anything. Whatever I need to speak about or whoever I need to speak to in order to get booked, that's what I'm willing to do. But as I'm sure you're aware, you cannot build a business that way. You cannot be a successful speaker without selecting a specific problem that you could solve, a specific problem that you could speak to. Now, how do you determine and identify what that problem is? Maybe for you, you're like, I got 96 different ideas of what I could speak about. So how do I start to narrow that down a little bit? So one of the things that we teach, that we dig into a little bit more at Free Speaker Workshop, is we teach these three kind of overlapping circles. So I'll kind of diagram this for you here. And so here's basically, we're going to do three different components that you need to consider whenever you are determining what kind of problem it is that you might be solving. So let's kind of walk through these. The first one, whoa, easy does it there. First one, that's okay, it's all right. First one is industry. Industry, now again, I know my handwriting's hideous there. So first one, the industry. Basically, who is it that you want to speak to? Who is it that you want to speak to? Now, we've identified 7 different primary industries that are hiring speakers, that are looking for speakers. You have corporations, associations, nonprofits, churches and faith-based, government and military, colleges and universities, and then education, so K through 12, so elementary, middle school, high school. Those are going to be the most common different industries that are looking for speakers. Now, that's really important there. Is you can't just say, well, I'll speak to anybody, or I just want to talk to humans, or I just want to talk to like one random group of people here. You want to try to find an industry that is actually looking to hire speakers to come speak to their audiences. So the first key question there is, again, the industry of who it is that you want to speak to. The second circle here is what we're going to call interest. Interest. So we have industry of who you speak to, and then interest, what it is that you actually speak about. And so again, within the interest piece, it's thinking through what is the problem that you are solving for this specific audience. Now, what it is that you speak about, it could be some life experiences you've had, it could be some expertise that you have, but whatever it is, you have to be super, super clear about what it is that you want to speak about. Now, you also want to make sure that what it is that you speak about isn't something that you're just interested in speaking about, but it's something that the industry that you want to speak to is interested in hiring speakers to talk about. If you have something that you're interested in, but nobody cares about it and nobody books speakers to talk about that, it's really hard to build a business that way. So you want to make sure that something that is of interest to you is also of interest to the audience that you might be speaking to. Now, one other point to mention here is just because it's of interest to you doesn't necessarily mean that it is of interest to the audience that you want to speak to. as well. Just because you think it should be of interest to that particular audience doesn't make it so. So again, you want to make sure that there's this overlap here between what you're interested in speaking about for you personally, as well as what the audience is looking for, what they feel like there is a need for, and if they have a problem that they're looking for a speaker to solve. So we have industry, we have interest, and then the last one here is integrity. Integrity. And what I mean by that is whenever it comes down to the industry and the interest, are you qualified to talk to that audience about that specific problem? Now, you may be thinking, well, Grant, I'm not the world's greatest expert on whatever the topic is or speaking to that audience. I can think of plenty of people that know more about it than I do. That's okay. You don't have to be the world's greatest expert to be able to speak on this topic. The bottom line is that you have to make sure that you know more about the audience, that you, again, don't have to be the world's greatest expert, but you know something more than that audience. And so to the audience, they perceive you as, throwing my cap around, they perceive you as the expert, as the go-to person on this subject or topic. So industry, interest, and integrity. And where you want to be as a speaker is you want to be right there in the middle. Right there in the middle. You want to find this perfect overlap, not a perfect overlap, but an overlap between the industry of who it is that you speak to, the interest of what it is that you talk about, and the integrity piece that you are qualified to actually speak on that. So all of that is to select a problem that you could solve. Select a problem that you could speak on. Now the second step here in the Speaker Success Roadmap is to prepare your talk. To prepare your talk. And with preparing your talk, here's the point where we've determined what the problem is that we're going to speak on. We've figured out who the audience is that we're going to speak to. Now we have to begin to develop the solution that we are going to use to help solve that problem. Now this is a really, really key component, because here's the reality. If you're really good at finding and booking speaking engagements, of getting the gig, but you suck as a speaker, it's really, really hard to build a business that way. I mean, think about some of the products, the restaurants, the experiences that you've had that you talk about the most. The reason that you talk about them the most isn't necessarily because they're maybe the greatest marketer, but the product is so stinking good. Like, think about your favorite restaurant, the one that when like folks come into town to visit you, like that's the place that you take them. Why? Not because like, oh, check out how pretty their menu is, or look how fancy this restaurant is. It's like, no, the food is just really, really stinking good. Like, the experience is amazing. And so preparing your talk is so critically important, because ultimately your presentation, your delivery of that presentation is the most important marketing that you can do. So we have select a problem to solve, and then the second step there is to prepare your talk. Now the third step here is to establish yourself as the expert. Establish yourself as the expert. Establish yourself as the expert. What I mean by that is that you're putting your stake in the ground, you're putting a line in the sand saying that you are the go-to person, you're the go-to authority on this particular subject or topic. I am the person that can help solve this problem. And so when we establish ourselves as the expert, we do this through your website, through your demo video, through your marketing materials, communicating very, very clearly of who you are, what it is that you do, and what the problem is that you solve, and for who that you do that for. Now, maybe you've seen this with some speaker websites. Maybe you are guilty of this yourself, that you're like, I don't want to narrow down my niche too much, because then I might lose out on some potential speaking gigs. But when someone comes to your site and they see that you speak on 19 different topics to 54 different audiences, then they think exactly what you're afraid that they're going to think, that you are this person that's the jack of all trades and the master of none. When an organization or a group or a conference or an event planner is looking for a speaker, they are looking for what? They are looking for the expert, the go-to person to help solve that problem for their audience. They don't want someone where it's one item on the menu that you could talk about. No. I'm looking for someone who is the go-to person. And so we want to make sure that your website and your demo video are communicating that you are the expert on this subject or topic. So at this point, we've got select a problem to solve, prepare your talk, establish yourself as the expert. The fourth piece here, the A, is to acquire paid speaking gigs. Acquire paid speaking gigs. I have hideous handwriting. I'm well aware of that. Which, by the way, if you have as bad of handwriting, let me know in the comments there. And also, if you have any questions as we go through this, feel free to put those in the comments, and I'm going to come back and answer as many of those as possible. So the fourth step here is to acquire paid speaking gigs. Now, you may be thinking, well, the whole point about this is to get paid speaking gigs, and you're right, but it's really important that we have the foundation laid. These first three steps here are critically important, because what happens is if we try to jump to this step without selecting the problem that we could solve, then again, we're just kind of like, I'll speak about anything to anybody, right? If you are someone who like, I don't have my talk, I don't know what my solution is, I just want you to hire me, nobody's going to book you. You come off as this desperate speaker. And then finally, if you're like, I know what the problem is that I want to solve, and I've even prepared the talk, but you don't have a website, you don't have a demo video, you haven't established yourself as a credible expert on that, then people are like, well, it's hard to take you seriously. So having the website, having the demo video, being clear on these first two makes it much simpler to then acquire paid speaking gigs. Now, how do you actually do that? Well, we teach 9 different methods, 9 different strategies about how to find and book speaking engagements. So again, whether you're a brand new speaker or you've been doing it for a little while, we walk through 9 specific methods of finding and booking paid speaking engagements. We teach you how to follow up with a client, how to reach out with a client, how to build rapport and connection with them. We talk through picking your speaking fees, how to negotiate, everything that goes into the experience of hiring and bringing you in as a speaker. We go through that within acquiring paid speaking gigs. And then finally, the last step here, the last phase, is to know when to scale, There we go, know when to scale. Hideous. So what I mean by that is, my guess is for you, you're clear on the problem that you want to solve, or you're getting there hopefully, and you have this message that you want to share, but you're kind of like, I don't want to just speak. There's other ways that you could share your message. So maybe for you, you want to write a book. Maybe you already have a book. You've got a book inside of you, or you've got a book in print right now. Maybe for you, you want to do coaching, you want to do consulting, maybe you want to have some type of online training course, maybe you want to do webinars, maybe you want to do some type of video training just like this. And so there's other ways to share your message to help people to solve the problem that you can beyond just the stage. So this 5th stage, is knowing when to scale, is helping you to build your business beyond the stage, of growing beyond the stage. So this right here is the Speaker Success Roadmap. This is the plan that you need to follow in order to build your speaking business, and ultimately how to find and book paid speaking engagements. So again, let's recap. You have selected a problem to solve, being very, very specific, making sure that you have the industry, the interest, and the integrity piece, and that you're making sure that those pieces overlap to the middle here, where you're finding a specific problem that you can solve for a specific audience. The second step there is to prepare your talk, of creating the solution that you want to talk about that's going to help solve the problem. And again, remember that your talk, your presentation, your keynote, your workshop, your seminar, your breakout, whatever the talk is oftentimes the most important marketing tool that you may have. The third step there is to establish yourself as the expert. Now this doesn't mean that you are the world's greatest expert, but in your marketing materials, that you are communicating that you are an authority, that you are a credible speaker to come in and help solve this specific problem. So we dig into that more as well. The fourth step there is to acquire paid speaking gigs, where this is the point where now we're ready to begin outreach, to begin reaching out to potential clients, to begin prospecting, and to begin to find the types of events that are right for you, where you are providing the solution to the need, to the pain that those organizers or conferences or attendees may already have. And then the last step there is to know when to scale, of knowing how to build your business beyond the stage, whether that's a book or a course or coaching or a curriculum or consulting or training of any form. This is where we teach knowing how to scale. So we do all of that again within the Speaker Success Roadmap. So if you are wanting more information on that, I definitely would encourage you to stop by freespeakerworkshop.com. Again, that is freespeakerworkshop.com. And like I said, we go way more in depth within all of these, all about how to find and book paid speaking engagements and how to build your speaking business. So if you do have other questions, please feel free to put those in the comments. I'll be sure and answer as many of those as possible, and look forward to seeing you again at freespeakerworkshop.com. Hope you have a great rest of the day. You're awesome.